Jordan Spieth arrived at TPC San Antonio looking for answers. But what he found instead was a controversy that would follow him all the way to Augusta. On the par 4 12th hole, his tee shot drifted hard left and came to rest wedged between two large boulders sitting in thick native grass with virtually no path to the green. With a penalty stroke looming, Spieth and his caddy, Michael Greller, quietly consulted the rulebook and landed on something most golfers would never think to do. Under Rule 15, loose impediments that are not fixed or growing can be removed. Boulders qualified. Together, the two men shifted the heavy rocks, cleared a swing path, and Spieth played on. Within hours, the video was everywhere. The golf world had not seen a moment quite like it in years. The reactions split opinions straight down the middle. Supporters pointed out that the PGA Tour confirmed the move was entirely within the rules, praising Spieth for knowing the rulebook better than his peers. Critics fired back that moving boulders on a golf course has nothing to do with the spirit of the game, calling it an embarrassing exploit of a loophole that no ordinary golfer would ever dream of using. One fan called him a genius, another called him a cheat. The debate grew even louder when officials later assessed the same area for abnormal course conditions related to an ant bed, creating a double-layer ruling that drew immediate comparisons to Tiger Woods' boulder situation at the 1999 Phoenix Open. For Spieth, it was already under pressure heading into his final major tune-up of the season. The optics could not have landed at a worse moment. Rich Beam, watching from the course, summed up the mood bluntly, saying that when a player is searching for rhythm, he will reach for anything, even boulders. The on-course performance that week did little to quiet the concerns either. Spieth opened with a 1 under 71 on Thursday, a round built on 4 birdies, but undermined by 3 bogeys. In putting, that was nothing short of dreadful. He lost over 3 strokes to the field on the greens alone, ranking 128th out of 132 players. In that category for the day, Beam identified a mechanical issue that appeared to be driving the struggle, noting that Spieth's left shoulder had dropped noticeably below his right during his putting stroke, causing him to hit down on the ball rather than rolling through it smoothly. Fellow commentator Andrew Coulthard agreed, calling it a meaningful technical flaw that needed to be corrected before he teed it up at Augusta. The shoulder tilt was creating a motion that worked against everything a good putting stroke is supposed to do, and it showed in the numbers. Friday brought little improvement. Spieth carded another 71 and made the cut by the slimmest of margins, finishing at 2 under par while his playing partners Robert McIntyre and Ludwig Berg were absolutely dismantling the golf course, shooting 14 under and 10 under respectively. For a player who grew up in Texas and has historically played his sharpest golf in front of home state crowds, the week felt like a quiet and uncomfortable embarrassment. Spieth himself admitted after the round that he had thrown away for shots, through poor chipping on his back 9 alone, describing each pitch from the rough as a coin flip he kept losing. On his final hole of the second round, he missed a 12-footer to save par and very nearly launched his putter across the green in frustration before composing himself to tap in for bogey. The cut had been made, but nothing about the performance suggested a player ready to contend at the toughest major on the calendar. Despite all of it, it's the noise, the numbers, and the rocky headlines. There are people close to the game who absolutely refuse to count Spieth out heading into Augusta. Former PGA Tour winner and CBS analyst Johnson Wagner pointed to a broader body of work from Spieth's season that tells a more encouraging story than one difficult week in San Antonio could ever tell. Wagner noted that Spieth has been more reliable. Off the tee, his iron play has been consistently solid. In the erratic pre-shot routines and swing rehearsals that once suggested deep mechanical uncertainty have largely vanished from his game. He graded Spieth's season at a B+ overall and stressed that Augusta National has a way of revealing something in Spieth that ordinary tournament rounds simply cannot measure. Wagner said plainly that he did not need to see Spieth competing in the final groups on Sunday in Texas to feel genuinely confident about what was coming at the Masters. Some of that optimism rests on a real and measurable technical improvement. Spieth's putting, which ranked 65th on tour the previous season, had climbed all the way to 36th, heading into the Texas Open. He credited a setup adjustment, recommended by his longtime coach Cameron McCormick, made during a narrow practice window. Between tournaments earlier in the year, when Dallas was frozen and time was limited, Spieth described the change as restoring a feel he had not had in years, particularly the ability to pick an intermediate spot, trust his stroke, and roll the ball confidently on shorter breaking putts. He said that confidence on the short ones frees up his entire mindset as the putts get longer, and that the effect had transformed his relationship with the putter over the previous several weeks. Heading into Augusta, Spieth's history at Augusta National adds a dimension to this story that statistics alone cannot fully explain. In 2015, at just 21 years old, he led the Masters from the opening round to the final putt, winning wire to wire and tying Tiger Woods' 72-hole scoring record of 18 under par. It felt like the announcement of the next truly dominant force in professional golf. Then came 2016, when Spieth led by 5 strokes with 9 holes to play, made a catastrophic quadruple bogey on the 12th hole, and watched the green jacket slip away in one of the most stunning collapses the tournament had ever witnessed. He captured the Open Championship in 2017, but has not won another major since. The drought now stretches 9 years, and the window that once seemed permanently wide open has been slowly and visibly narrowing with each passing season. And yet, Augusta keeps pulling him back into contention. He has finished inside the top for their 6 times, carries a scoring average of just under 71 across 44 rounds at the course, and has missed the cut only twice in his entire Masters career. The place fits his imagination and his instincts in ways that defy any conventional reading of form or momentum. Spieth has said repeatedly that Augusta is different, that it is a place where anything can happen, and that his belief in his ability to win another green jacket has never left him. The boulder on the 12th hole at TPC San Antonio, whether you read it as clever or calculating, was a perfectly fitting symbol of who he is as a competitor. Faced with what looked like an impossible situation, he refused to accept the penalty. He studied the rulebook, found a solution that most players standing in that same spot would never have thought to look for, moved the rocks, and kept right on playing. That instinct, more than any putting statistic or iron play metric or swing mechanic, is what has always defined Jordan Spieth. And it is exactly what Augusta National tends to reward when the tournament is on the line and the margin between. Winning and losing comes down to a single decision made under pressure,